One of the greatest tragedies in life is to go through life with your five senses and all the gifts that have been given to you and end up living out the scripts of another person. Somebody will be wondering, what does she mean by that? That's the truth. So many people live in this world, bear their own names, have their own unique gifts, but act and live out the scripts that are written for them by other people. Interestingly, some of us never get to know the people that wrote the scripts for us. What am I talking about? I'm talking about standards that are set for us by the society. Some of us are born into certain religious settings. Some of us are born into certain places, and so we just meet these rules, regulations, standards that are set for us. And so the society has some unwritten codes. The society gives us what to live by. They tell us what is beauty, they tell us what is education, they tell us how to marry, what to wear, and how to go about everything that we're supposed to do. And we don't have choices most times, but is that how it's supposed to be? Are we supposed to be living out the scripts of other people? Are we created uniquely only to end up in the cocoon or in the box that people make for us? Is that what life is all about? I don't think so. I think rather, when you act out the script that other people write for you, it leads to certain things, amongst which are masking. Masking is when you put up an appearance that is not you. Number two, it leads to depression. And then three, it leads to frustration. And these three things, the first one, masking, makes you to be another person while you're in another person's body. Which is like wearing a mask, is that you are actually another person but acting out another person. There are so many people like that in this world. Probably because the educational system tells them that, or the religious system tells them that, or they are born into a place where they never get to wake up and see themselves or discover themselves. I did a video some time ago and I talked about the fact that some people were born into a war-torn zone. And so all they've known through their life is war. They've never known peace. And so when you tell them about peace, love, serenity, and all that, it's strange to them because they're born into rules and regulations and standards that are set for them. Standards. Or when you ask the people who make sure that these standards are followed, or when you ask the people who try to make people to conform to these so-called standards, why one must do what one is doing, they will tell you, I don't know, but this is how we met it. And if you ask the next person, they will say, our fathers gave it to us. And if you ask the fathers will say, our fathers gave it to us. So people are born into such things. And the tragedy in it is that the gifts, the uniqueness that is inside of these people who are born into standards that are set for them by other people, who act out the scripts that are set for them or the scripts that are written for them by other people, never get to fulfill their purpose. What do? They just go through life. Walk, you walk. Stand, you stand. I think one Nigerian songwriter, I think it was Fela, that said, you become a zombie. You don't have a mind of yours. Well, sometimes you don't really get to blame them because they never had the opportunity to really discover who they really are. But you see, life is supposed to be beautiful. Everybody is supposed to bring out their uniqueness. Masking is like telling an orange to wear the casing of a mango. Just imagine what that would be. Or a mango beginning to act like a pineapple. That's exactly what happened. So you lose the mangoness in the mango, if there's a word like that, or if there's a phrase like that. That's what most of us do. And so it could be frustrating. You're in your body and acting another person's script. It's frustrating. And then it could also lead to depression and frustration. When you act out another person's script that is written for the person, that does not comply with your strengths. Most times people who even give us these rules and regulations do not get to meet you. They don't know your strengths, they don't know your weaknesses, they don't know your uniqueness. How can life be a one size fits all? How can it be a straight jacket for everybody? I don't think so. That's what this channel is all about. This channel is committed to making sure that you discover you and use you to do life. Yeah. Be you, be real. That's what we do here. We bring out things from all over that has to do with life so that we can be the best version of ourselves, because you just have one chance at life. It will be a tragedy, like I said in my intro, that you live your life in another person's setting You live your life in another person's script, acting another person's life out. It reduces your strength. Apart from the fact that it could lead to depression and frustration, it also reduces your strength, because when you discover you and you use you to do you, it is in and within your strength, within your passion. And trust me, life becomes interesting and life becomes easy. Let me give us some very simple examples. I know some people will be wondering, what does she mean? Isn't this the holy book? Did the holy book not tell us that we should live by these standards? Yes, it's true. But even in the holy book, whichever religion you want to look at it, but I want to look at it from the Bible. I'm going to give us like 6 people that when you compare their lives using the same Bible, you discover that they all discovered who they were and used their uniqueness to live out their lives and left footprints on the sands of time. Remember, I'm so interested in making sure that the hero and the heroine in you comes out. The king and the queen in you comes out. That's what I'm committed to in this channel. So let's start from somebody like Moses. Interesting, had a very beautiful encounter. But do you know what Moses used to perform all the acts that he performed? It was a rod. He had a rod that he was using. It was a rod that gave him most of the victory, if not all. And then when he got to his successor Joshua, he was told to use the word. And so Joshua was told, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. Moses, Joshua, predecessor, successor, doing 2 different things, following the same purpose because of their uniqueness. And then you get to the story of Elijah and Elisha. Elijah was a very powerful man, fiery, prayerful man who could call down fire and all that. He had a mantle that he was using, but his successor, Elisha, operated differently. So, how do you look at that? One person ascended into the heavens and never came back because of his uniqueness. The other person had to stay into old age, got ill, and passed on. His bones still resurrected somebody. Come on, are you seeing the uniqueness and difference in people? So I'll give us 2 more examples, which are John the Baptist and Jesus. John the Baptist came with a very unique sermon, clearing the way for the Messiah to come. What else did he do? He was eating locusts and wild honey. What else did he do? He was wearing camel skin as clothes. He was in the wilderness. He was preaching fiery messages. And then here was Jesus who came. He was dining with the tax collectors. He even attended a marriage service. He even attended a marriage ceremony. At least we have the record of one, where he turned water into wine. Oh, how could Jesus turn water into wine? Somebody would ask. But that's him. That was what he did. He didn't have to live like John the Baptist. He didn't have to live like any other person. He brought out his uniqueness, and that was how you could see that even the clothes he wore were different. He was wearing silk, he was wearing purple, he was wearing velvet. So much so that soldiers even had to cast lots. I just brought out these 6 people, but take your time and look at it. No 2 persons are the same. And the only way you can live a life of purpose and fulfillment is when you discover you and you use you to do you. Let me just quickly say this. When I was growing up, I knew that some children were left-handed. In the home where I grew up, it was a taboo for you to be left-handed. When I did a first degree in education, I realized that left-handed people are specially gifted and intelligent within that part of their brain. And so when you tell a child, use your right hand, you are actually removing the child from the strength of the child. And so the learning process of that child becomes slow because the child has to move from where his cognitive abilities were to the other side. These were some of the things in ignorance people did because they have a standard to say it was disrespectful of you to take something with the left hand, and so you must take it with your right hand. The best you can be in this world is to be you.